Hi guys, so I am back. I've had a little break, as you are probably aware. If you've seen the title of this video, you will know what's happened. Today I'm going to talk to you about that and some other bits and pieces of life updates, so let's get into it. I'm talking a bit more softly than I do normally, just because my head does still hurt and I need to be careful not to overstimulate my brain. So that's how I can bring a video to you today. So in order to bring something to you that is not going to cause me a lot of work, I thought I would do an update and update you guys on what's been happening. It's a video I've been meaning to do for a little while actually, because I've had a few different updates happen to my channel and to my life recently, and I've been meaning to do one of these videos. So now really it just seems like the perfect opportunity to do that. In short, I had a hit to the head and I've now got concussion. I will go into details about that a bit further down in the video. I wanted to focus on some really good news because quite honestly, I need the good news as much as you guys do. So I thought it would be a nice positive start to the video if we go through some good things that have happened, some achievements, etc. And then we get on to the nitty gritty of what happened to me. So the first bit of good news you might see, I've put my Christmas tree up. It is only, I think it's like the 22nd of November now. This is super early for me to be putting a tree up, it really is. But I know on YouTube, if I waited to when I'd normally put it up would be the middle of December. Christmas is pretty much over on YouTube, and I think it makes a really pretty backdrop. So I wanted to get it up a little bit sooner. I put that tree up about 2 or 3 nights ago, so it wasn't too long after my injury, and I think I really underestimated the injury at that point. Because it made me really quite poorly putting that tree up, but it's up and I'm so pleased that it is. I feel like I'm talking too quietly. If I am, I'll whack it up in post-production. My next bit of good news is I commissioned a friend. So I've got a friend who is a school friend actually. I've known her since I was, I don't know, Louise, leave me a comment and tell me how long we've known each other, but I think it probably when we went to high school, so about 11, 12 years old maybe. And we used to live next door to each other when we were little, and we're Facebook friends. And recently she started up a quilling business. So quilling's where you shape lots of little bits of paper into things. And I saw some of her products that she'd made. She does them for customers and they were amazing. She did a sloth, which I'll put a picture of here. It is just lovely. So I messaged her and I said, can I commission you to make me a sewing machine picture for my wall? She sent this to me. How amazing is that? I'm trying to get it so my lights are not glaring on it. I'll put a picture on screen if it doesn't come out well. But look at that. That is lovely. So I've got this picture and that will be going up on my wall up there. It might go where my threads are. But I absolutely love this, and it's all the more special that a childhood friend who knows me really well has made this for me. I did pay her, so this isn't gifted or anything like this. And she had some really good designs that she's done. If you'd be interested, I will leave her details down below in case you want to go and have a nosy at her work. It's just so creative if you ask me. Like, she's even made me a little pair of scissors. Look at that. And the sewing machine, it must have taken hours. And I'm just so proud to have this piece from a friend. So thanks, Louise, if you're watching this. The next piece of good news that I want to share with you, I can't remember if I've shared it in a video, I don't think I have, is that I've reached 10,000 subscribers. Completely and utterly blows my mind. When I started, I think I started in August 2018, and by the end of the year I had 350 subscribers, and I thought, I was like, whoa, I can't believe 350 people want to watch me. That just blew my mind at the time. And then the following year I had 2,500. And I did know of other people who had like 10,000 or more, and I just didn't ever think that that would be something that I could achieve. So the fact that I've achieved it, and I did set myself a deadline, because even though on one hand I didn't believe I could do it, I still wanted to achieve it. So I did set myself a deadline of January the 1st, 2021 to get 10,000 subscribers. And a little while ago it wasn't actually looking quite likely. I was at about 6,500. Growth was quite slow and I thought it wasn't going to happen, but I was still pleased with the process that I'd made. You know, the numbers don't mean an awful lot, but I like to have a goal that sets me up, and I've got something to work towards, if you like. It's not just the subscriber count that I'm working towards. I work very, very hard behind the scenes in order to grow my channel, to bring you guys value, to make the videos worth watching for you guys. And it is a learning curve and I've still got a lot to learn. But if you look at my early videos, you'll see how far I've come. Some of you might be OGs and you have watched me from the beginning, so you will know, and I'm sure you can attest to how far I've come. But I still have a way to go, and the subscriber count is just one metric that I follow. So it wasn't looking likely when I had about 6,500 that I would reach it within that deadline. And then suddenly, out of nowhere, I had a couple of videos that blew up, and the first video is now at 75,000 views, which is completely insane. I remember saying to a friend when I launched it, if it reached 20,000 views, I think I would cry. And it's at 75,000 now. So it's just amazing. And I've got another one behind it that's at, wow, it's at 45 at the moment, I think. So it's fantastic. And then when that happened, loads of you were able to find me that didn't find me before, which is great, because I'm really excited, especially in 2021, to be able to bring you lots of value and help you to improve your sewing and feel more confident in the sewing that you're making, because that's my aim of my whole channel, is to help you to feel more confident and know that you can make anything that you put your mind to. A big thank you to everyone who has subscribed, watched, commented, shared, etc. Anyone that's helped me in any way. I thought it might hurt my head a lot, but I'm doing okay so far. So the next bit of news is I've opened memberships on my channel. So a while ago I opened a Patreon, and it was a slow start, but it was starting to build some momentum. But the problem was I'd kind of overestimated what I could do for my Patreons. And so I wasn't able to meet my deadlines, and I felt really bad about that. If you know anything about me, you'll know that I can't cope with things like that. So I decided to close my Patreon account and open memberships, but not offer quite as much at the beginning as I did with my Patreons. If you go down below my video, you should see a join button next to the subscribe button, and if you click on that join button, it will give you all the information about what I'm currently offering and the price. So just to quickly tell you, the price is $4.99, and you pay that monthly and you get what I explain in the blurb down below. If you don't see a join button, just go to youtube.com/penguinandpear dressmaking/join, and then you'll see all the details. So I'll be doing a chatty video at the end of the month, and that will only be available to my members. So that will include any news, any makes that I've either made or I'm in the process of making, or my plans that I might want to share with you, and I'll also answer any questions. So a couple of weeks before the video, I put a little question up on my community tab for my only for my members, and I say if you've got any questions for me, I can answer it in the video, and then I look at that when I'm filming and I will answer that. This month's question is already on my community tab, so if you do become a member, head over to my community tab and have a look. In fact, my community tab is really integral to the membership, so whenever I do anything to do with the memberships, I will do a community post for my members only. If you're not a member, you won't see those posts, but if you are, you will. And also I'm open to suggestions of videos to produce. So I've only had one requests so far, but I can't promise that I will do the requests, but I certainly consider them. You also get like a little badge next to your name, and that will tell me that you're a member. So like when you're commenting on my normal videos, I'll see you're a member and I will definitely give you a response. As my channel has grown bigger and bigger, it's becoming more difficult to leave comments with everyone who or reply to comments on everyone who has replied to me. That's something I've always been passionate about. If you've been on my channel for a while, you'll know that I was always responding to everything for the longest time, but it just became too much for me, and so I can't actually respond, but I do read everyone's comments and I always try to give them a heart even if I can't respond. As we move forward, I will be looking to add more things, maybe something tangible. If you've got any ideas about what you'd like to see in memberships, anything that would get you to sign up, I'd be all ears to hear that. Do leave a comment down below. It is my aim to grow my memberships over time and just be a nice little side community and offer you lots of extra value for that fee that you are paying. So I want to show you a make that I've recently made that I haven't talked about on my channel yet. Let me just get it. And that is this bag. I should do it up. I have been using it. This is the Sydney Swoon bag that I said that I was going to make a while ago. I've made this bag completely out of scraps that I had around, so it didn't cost me anything, even the hardware I already owned. So the whole idea was I did have a crossbody bag that I was using, but it was very small. Let me get it and show you. So this was the bag, and I made this probably made this about 4 years ago, and I'd followed a tutorial on the Creative Bug website. I made that and I was so happy with it at the time. It's just like that is some scrap fabrics there. It's only got one little front pocket and then just one like pocket with no fastening on it in the inside, and it's so tiny. So I made that and I was using it, and I did use it a lot. But I really wanted a bag that was bigger, that I could carry more in, and that it would have my, so I have a 10.5-inch iPad, and I saw Liz So's had made the Swoon bag, the Sydney bag by Swoon, and so I went and purchased the pattern, which was like £4 or £5. So I made this about a month ago and I have been using it. So I used denim on the front. So this was just some scraps of denim I had left over. Well, I had quite a big scrap on the back, but it was scraps. It took me an age to cut it all out. There were 1,000,001 pieces. It just was not stopping. And obviously I had to cut interfacing and wadding and all sorts. And I actually cut out 2 bags, and I'm in the process of making the other bag. And I was going to tell you the fabric, but I won't. I'll leave it as a surprise for when it's done. So this was kind of acting as a toile. I wasn't even totally sure the hot pink would go with the denim. I think it does contrast nicely, but it is a little bit in your face. I would have preferred like a baby pink maybe, or some cork. Some cork would have been nice there. So anyway, did this, and at the same time I cut out my second one. But I wanted to do this one first, just so I could get to know the pattern. I'm a really visual person, and when I see lots and lots of pieces that need to go together, I get so confused. And so making it and not worrying about little mistakes here and there was going to help me when I make the final one for it to look really good. And I followed a tutorial by Lauren Mormino, I think her name is. I'll link her down below. She has a tutorial, and I didn't look at the instructions at all. I just followed her tutorial. And it did take me about 3 or 4 days because I was doing a bit here, a bit there, because obviously you'll know that I've got ME, so I can't do it all in one sitting. But you know, within 3 or 4 days I had a whole bag, and I'm really, really happy with this. So on the front it's got cargo pockets, you see there, and it's got 2 snaps there, and then they expand there. So you could probably put your phone in there. I think you could fit your phone in there. I don't put anything, I don't use them. They're purely decorative for me, certainly at the moment. But obviously I've got 2 there. When you're sewing these, you've got to be so careful to get them to align. And I didn't actually put my snaps in straight, and I had to sort of fiddle with it to make it look straight, if you know what I mean. So anyway, you got those, and then just above it you got a zip. And I've got some lovely fabric in there. I've got my mask that I made. And then there's nothing at the top. And then you've got a zip with a pull. Lauren did put metal ends on the zipper, but I didn't have any and I didn't want to wait to buy them. So I didn't do that. On the sides it's hot pink faux leather. And it's got a little pleat there. I don't know if you... And on the back it's got a big slip pocket. Now this slip pocket does not come with a snap, but you can see I've put a snap there, and I added that, but that's not on the pattern, just because I thought it'd be better to keep it closed. You could put a line of stitching down there if you wanted and have 2 pockets, but I wanted 1 pocket in case I bought anything like A4 size that I wanted to put in there. I don't use it so far, but never say never. This lining, I'm gonna turn my bag inside out so you can see it better. This lining is a lining that I had bought 4 or 5 years ago, and I attempted to make a Clare coat. I was very new to sewing. The Clare coat's from Closet Core, and I'd cut it out, and I cut the main fabric out, and it was just, I messed up cutting out the main bit, and I didn't have enough fabric. I basically cut 2 of the same sleeve instead of reflecting them, and I didn't have enough fabric to cut it again. So I never ended up making that coat, but I'd already cut out the lining in this, and so I just managed just about millimeters away to cut enough pieces for this bag, and I think it looks absolutely lovely. It's got an inside pocket there as well. You could put another pocket on the other side. I didn't bother, but you could easily do that. So I wasn't originally intending to talk about this. I did sort of ask you in a video, would you like to hear about it? And I did get a resounding yes. But because my channel is about garment sewing, I never had any real plans to share it with you. But you know, given the circumstances around this video, I thought it would be a good way of including some sewing in this video. That's my bag, and then I did a nice crossbody bag, and crossbody strap, and I just put the measuring tape over my shoulder down to where I wanted the bag to go to see how long that I wanted it. And actually the pattern calls for 1.5 inch wide straps, which this definitely is not, but I just went with the hardware that I already had and made it as wide as it needed to be for the hardware, and then I put rivets in. That's the first time that I've actually used rivets. I have a rivet machine over there somewhere next to my plant. But yeah, that was the first time I'd used it since I got the proper bits to go in my rivet machine. So that came out quite nicely. So I'm really happy with that. But I've been talking 28 minutes, although it won't be 28 minutes to you because I will be cutting it down a bit. But my head is banging and I'm a little bit nauseous, so I'm gonna have a little rest, and then I'll come back and I will tell you all about what happened with me. It'll be 1 second time for you. So I'm back. I've just had a few minutes shut eye, and these lights are quite glary, so let's get through what happened. So last Sunday it was, I was filming a video. It's the video that's going to be coming next, and it's a fabric declutter basically. You see my shelf looks a little bit different at the moment. It's a lot emptier. So I filmed a declutter video, which is part of my capsule wardrobe. If you saw my capsule wardrobe video, thanks for watching. It was really good success. I had a lot of people download the free ebook that I supplied, so thank you for doing that. And I was all prepared to go gung-ho with that series, and it's just not possible to go gung-ho with it at the moment because I'm in recovery from concussion, but it is still coming, but it'll come in dribs and drabs. I will do it mixed in with other videos, so do look out. I will always say in the title if it's a capsule wardrobe video. So anyway, getting back to the thing at hand, I was filming the video and I wanted to sort of drape some fabrics in front of you, but I wanted to do it on a backdrop that wasn't all this, like, because there's loads of stuff in the background that's distracting, and I wanted something quite plain. I had purchased a professional backdrop, so it's 3 metre, so very long. To give you a bit of perspective, this side, this wall here in my lounge is only 3.5 metres long, so this is very, very long. It had 11 metres of professional grade photography paper, which is very, very thick, and it has inside the paper has a roll that is also very sturdy, so that the paper doesn't bow when you're using it. So it's really heavy. They don't come cheap either, so I was purchasing the actual backdrop separate to the backdrop stand. So I purchased the backdrop. It's here. I've been waiting to use it. I've been chomping at the bit to use it. I really have. But I didn't have my background yet, and the background cost a bit, so I'm putting money away for it, but I wasn't quite there with being able to buy it. And so I was doing this video. I wanted a plain backdrop for my fabrics, and so I had in my mind to put the backdrop on top of this shelf here. So let me show you here. So this is my calyx unit here, and I had the idea to lay it on top of here. So let me show you what I mean. I've got a little dowel here that by no means expresses the magnitude of what happened, but let's just say this is the roll of paper. I wanted to rest it up there, and it went to the length of the wall on both sides pretty much, and it was, because it's round, it's obviously not going to stay up there on its own. I had these paper weights on the floor, so I had it up there and I'm holding it with this hand, so I'm bending down like this. I lost control of it and it came slamming down on my head there. It only dropped about that much, but because it was so heavy, it come down, as the hospital described it, with blunt force. It's Sunday now, so it's a week ago today, so I did this a week ago, and it still feels painful to touch, and I'm still in a lot of pain with my headaches. I was a little bit dazed. At the time I didn't think I was. I just went and sat in the bedroom and said to my husband, something's just fallen on me. And it was quite like, I was holding my head and it was hurting, but it wasn't too bad. 5 minutes later, me and my husband came back in here and sorted the backdrop out and put it away, obviously, because I wasn't going to use it after that. And I went about my business, and it was stinging. There was no two ways about it. But I wasn't thinking, wow. I did acknowledge to myself that it was a very hard hit. I did say to my husband, this come down on me really hard, harder than anything's ever hit me before. I was a little bit concerned, and I thought, do I need to call someone? But I looked it up on our NHS website, and it basically said you need to get some help if you have certain symptoms, and I didn't have those symptoms. I initially had a little lump come up on top very soon afterwards, and then it went down again, and I haven't got a lump or anything. You wouldn't know I've been hit to look at the top of my head. I was really avoiding, because we've got a non-emergency phone number here in the UK that we can call 111. And they will give you advice. They will tell you to see your doctor or not see your doctor or whatever. And I was avoiding calling them. Every time I called them in the past, they rushed me off to hospital or this, that and the other. I mean, I called them one time with pain where my kidneys are, and they told me I was having a heart attack. and I completely panicked, and they were sending an ambulance out to me, and it was completely unnecessary. I've got lots of little stories like that, so I was avoiding contacting them unless I had to. But it was a day later and I was still getting really strong headaches. So I posted something on my Facebook page and I was like calling out for any medics. I was like, is it an issue that I've still got a really bad headache 24 hours after a blow to the head? And they're like, you need to call for help immediately. That needs looking at urgently. So I did. I called 111 and they told me they're bringing out an ambulance to me, that I needed to be seen immediately. And then they called me back and said, we're not sending an ambulance, can you get a cab, we'll pay for it. So they do that. If you are of low income, then they will pay for your cab. They'll pay for your cab there, but you've got to make your own way back. So anyway, they sent me in a cab and I got seen pretty much straight away by a nurse practitioner, and she examined me and did all the checks and that she needed to do, and she said that I have concussion, but there's nothing that suggests a bleed on the brain or anything. I absolutely wasn't convinced of this by this point. My anxiety completely took over. I was in a lot of pain and I had nausea as well, and I was like, but how do you know? But she says there's no neurological problems that she can witness. But she said that I do need to keep an eye on things. So if like I'm sick or anything else, then I need to call back. So I come home that night. That was Sunday night. I felt like rubbish. Really did feel like rubbish. But it wasn't as bad as it did get. The first day or two wasn't. Looking back, it wasn't that bad, although at the time I was suffering, but it wasn't that bad. It was the next night I was watching YouTube on my tablet in the evening and my tongue went numb. So when that happened, I went and looked in the mirror and I saw my eyes had gone bloodshot, just the bottom half of my eyes. I've still got a tiny bit left now. I don't know if you're going to pick it up on camera, but I can certainly see it in the mirror. It's not bad now, but it was a little bit worse than it is. So I called 111 again and just asked for some advice, really. I just was like, you know, this has happened, I've had this fall. It was the woman I'd spoken to the previous night, which helped, so she knew the story. And I had a swelling at the base of my skull there, or it felt like a swelling to me. So she said, with that information, we need to bring you in again. So off I trotted up to A&E, or the ER as you would call it in America, whereas I was seen straight away the night before. They sent me to the major injury unit rather than the emergency room, so I got seen straight away. But this time that department was shut. It was like about 11 o'clock at night. So I was in A&E for 4 hours. On the plus side, I saw a doctor and the doctor gave me a thorough examination, a lot more thorough than the nurse had given me the previous night. So that helped to reassure me a little bit. And he said he was going to do a CT scan. He said he couldn't see any neurological damage, but he would do a CT scan just to rule anything out. And then he came back to me and said he'd spoken to his boss and his boss said no to the CT scan. So we didn't do a CT scan. He sold it as like it's got side effects and that will add extra stress to me. From their opinion, there wasn't any real reason to, because I wasn't having major symptoms like the tongue swelling. He said he couldn't see a swelling at the back of the head. So, you know, I do have fatty tissue because I'm plus size, so it could just be that. I've still got it now if I touch it, but the tingling in the tongue had stopped and I didn't have a headache at the time I was at the hospital. So he said, you know, given that there are side effects with a CT scan, and I have had a CT scan in the past, so the contrast they give you is not nice, so I wasn't really relishing having it. And then we went home and got home at 2 AM that night. Haven't been back to the hospital since, but I've had a lot of anxiety. my anxiety has been through the roof, and I think it is actually a direct result of the impact. I think something happened with it that made me more anxious, but this was on a whole new level. I was literally scared for my life. I've never ever been more scared, and it's mainly because my head was hurting so much. It was like a very severe migraine where the whole head was just in agony, and I was getting this gripping feeling on my skull where like my skull was sort of contracting or something. It must have been because there was a swelling on the brain. Part of me could not get my head around the fact that this happened when I was filming a video. If I was in a car accident or I was crossing the road or something like that, I could understand it a bit more. But I was just in my own home and I was just trying to film a video and it happened. But it's a huge, huge lesson to me to not take stupid risks in the future, and I should have known not to try and do that on my own. And you just don't think about, or I didn't think about the risk, but I certainly will now. I am the sort of person that when something like that happens, I never ever make that mistake again, because I am very cautious and quite an anxious person. So yeah, I've had really severe headaches, like I can barely see. I've just moved over to my phone from my camera because my camera's out of space and the battery's low, and it might be hours before I can film the rest of it on my camera. So I'm just coming at you on here. So I was getting these really, really intense headaches. I had nausea, I couldn't look at the lights. The YouTube videos were just being, I could watch about 2 minutes and it became too much and it had to be turned off. So I was just laying there in the dark essentially. And my anxiety got really bad. I couldn't understand that there's so much pain, and there still is now, how there could not be damage done to me. And I just could not get around my head that I was just putting a backdrop up, that's all. It doesn't take much, does it? And head injuries are so serious. Like I say, we're a week away now, week since it happened, and my head is still killing me. I'm taking paracetamol, but that's all I'm taking, and it takes the edge off, but it doesn't take it off fully. But honestly, I cannot thank the NHS enough. How amazing that this could happen and I can just ring up for free and then get that help and know that I'm not going to get a big bill or anything. They'll even send an ambulance out if I need it, no extra cost. So that is just amazing, and I'm so grateful for that. So that's what's happened to me in a nutshell. So I've got concussion. I'm hoping that it's going to be over soon, but that's why I haven't been able to bring any videos to you. I do want to keep bringing the videos to you. I put a message out on my community tab. I also put a message out on my Facebook page and my Instagram, just to give you a quick update of why the videos was not coming or why they'd stopped. The outpouring of support has been absolutely amazing. So if you're one of those people, thank you so much. It's one of those freak things, and it can't be predicted, but I'm just so glad that it wasn't any worse than it actually is. I hope you enjoyed this little chat up. Sorry it was a bit more laid back than I would normally like to do. I like to be a little bit more energetic and that, but I know that I'm going to make myself ill if I do that, and better to just have a laid back video than not bring any video to you at all. Oh, I know what I was going to say. I just wanted to make a point that everyone was really lovely, and they were saying don't worry about the videos, just rest, get better, and we'll be here when you get back. And I do appreciate that. And yes, my health does have to come first, but my anxiety about not posting, etc., is related to the fact that this is my job and I am self-employed, so I can't call in sick or anything like that and still get paid for it. If I'm not posting videos, I don't get paid, and so I need to do that, and what I get paid isn't a lot anyway, so it's really noticeable when I don't get it. So that's just to give you a little bit of background about why I was a bit anxious about posting videos. So I would be really grateful if you could support my channel by watching some more videos of mine, because I obviously haven't been posting. My views have dropped and I need YouTube to think that my videos are still active and being watched, so that they keep sharing me out. I will put a playlist probably there, but it'll also be down below that's got all my videos. If you could share them out with anyone that you think would benefit from them, that would be fantastic. Maybe share out your favourite video. If you would like to support me further, I do have a Ko-fi account. Link will be down below and on screen somewhere. I also have memberships, so don't forget to check those memberships out. I'd really love to see you become a member. That would be great. So could you leave me a comment down below and let me know if you've had concussion, how long it took you to recover, because I'm hearing lots of different stories about how long it takes. I would like to be mended pretty quickly, but I don't think it's going to be quickly, because we're 1 week in and I'm still it feels like something's clutching my head. But I am in a better place than I was a few days ago, so that is fantastic. Thanks so much for watching. Until next time, happy sewing. Bye for now. Don't forget to subscribe down there somewhere. I'll see you real soon. Bye.